Welcome to another video from Slovakia. This time we'll take a look at the D1 motorway, where we'll drive around the Liptovská Mara water reservoir, the town of Liptovsky Mikulas, and we'll also visit Liptovsky Hradok, where we'll turn around and travel the route in the opposite direction. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and support the Europe Truck Driver channel with a subscription. You can write your own experiences from this region of Slovakia in the comments. And now, sit back comfortably, and let's go. To start, let's say something about Liptovsky Mikulas. The town of Liptovsky Mikulas lies in the central part of the Liptov Basin geomorphological subunit and is surrounded by the Western Tatras Mountains to the north, the Low Tatras to the south, and the Chalk Mountains to the northwest. The town extends mainly on the right bank of the Va River, right at its confluence with the Liptovská Mara water reservoir. The town is laid out in an east-west direction, with the town center at an altitude of 577 meters above sea level, making it the 10th highest town in Slovakia. It is the seat of the Liptovsky Mikulas district, the natural center of the central Liptov region, and also the most populous settlement in Liptov. The town lies on the main railway line number 180 Zelina, Kosice. The D1 motorway passes through the southern part of the town, and the town is located at the crossroads of roads I-18 and 584. The nearest airports are in Poprad and Zelina. There are 5 petrol stations serving motorists in the town, and another 2 for natural gas. In September 2010, the town's first roundabout was opened at the site of the previously most congested traffic light intersection near the Janosik Hotel. Currently, there are 7 intersections in the town controlled by traffic lights. On the motorway feeder road near the Tesco and Coughlin department stores, at the intersection of the motorway feeder road, Garbiarska Janosikovo Nabrezia, near the former Hypernova department store, at the intersection of Garbiarska Haleho and on Rachmaninoff Square, intersection of 1, Maja Street KPT, Nalepku, J. Janosku, the intersection of Garbiarska Kolarova, as well as the intersection of Holeho M. Martincheka, Moisesova, for the purpose of regulating traffic to, from the former Hypernova department store. Liptovsky Mikulas is an important tourist center. It is a natural starting point for trips to the Low Tatras, Demonovska Valley, as well as to the Western Tatras and the Chalk Mountains. There are several accommodation facilities in the town: Hotels Janosik, Ilan, Palazzo, Villa Bianca in the town center, Hotel Bocian in Palutska, Hotel Pyramida in Liptovska Ondrasova, Hotel Sester and Stavo Industria on 1, Maja Street, the so-called Textilka, Hotel Lodenika on the embankment, Sport Hotel Tatran in Podbrezhny, several pensions and private accommodations mainly in the town districts, etc. Dining facilities are represented by restaurants Liptovska Izba, Atlas, German, Rotunda, Route 66, Onivitrak, Soda Club, Belova Street, and a McDonald's fast food outlet in the Kamene Pole area. The Aquapark Tatralandia is located within the town's cadastral area in the Raztoki locality. The first written mention of the town is from 1286. The town bears the name of its patron, St. Nicholas. At that time, the town consisted only of a Roman Catholic church and a few houses around it. In the first half of the 14th century, Liptovsky Mikulas had a significant commercial position. From 1424, it had the privilege of organizing markets twice a year. From 1677, when the town also became the seat of the district, it was the seat of the Liptov Comitatus, later the county. District meetings and courts were held in the town. In 1713, the legendary Slovak outlaw Juraj Janosik was sentenced and executed here. In 1848, the so-called demands of the Slovak nation were signed here. On May 1, 1918, a workers' demonstration took place here in the Black Eagle, Sirny Orol building. In 1923, the neighboring town of Vrbica, which had already completely merged with it territorially, was annexed to what was then Liptovsky Mikulas. During the Second World War, the town was destroyed during the fighting in early 1945 in the course of the so-called Battle of Liptovsky Mikulas. In the 1960s and 70s, other previously independent municipalities became part of the town. The Roman Catholic Church of St. Nicholas, a 3-aisled early Gothic building with a polygonal presbytery and a built-on tower from the period 1280 to 1300. It stands on the site of an older Romanesque church. It is located in the southern part of Liberator Square, Namesti Oslaba Ditlov, in the town center. In the mid-15th century, it was damaged in battles with the Brethren, Bratrici. In the second half of the 15th century, it was structurally modified, expanded, and vaulted in the late Gothic style. From the arrival of the Reformation in the mid-16th century until the end of the 17th century, the church was Protestant, evangelical. From 1632 to 1637, the Czech exile and important Baroque writer George Trinovsky was a preacher here. Since 1685, the church has been Catholic, followed by Baroque modifications in the 18th century. In 1883, it was damaged by fire and restored in 1903. It underwent further restoration in 1940 to 1943 under the direction of architects M.M. Harmink and J. Zikensky, when its medieval character was restored at the cost of losing later stylistic modifications. During this period, the defensive wall and a complex of historic shops, with which it formed an urban unit, were demolished. Side chapels were added, decorated by leading artists of the time such as Janko Alexei, Fero Kral, and Jan Zalibsky. The main altar of St. Nicholas, with side statues of St. Stephen and St. Ladislaus, is a neo-Gothic work with Gothic panel paintings and a predella. The old Gothic panel paintings were moved to the Liptov Museum in Ruzomberok. In the north aisle is a Gothic Marian winged altar from the period 1470 to 1480. In the south aisle is a Gothic altar of the Corpus Christi from around 1520. A Gothic font from 1490 with a copper lid from the 17th century has also been preserved. The church's facades are structured by buttresses and windows, with stone jambs ending in a pointed arch. The tower has paired windows with a central column. The corners are lined with ashlar. It is topped with a Baroque helmet roof. The Evangelical Church, a single-aisled tolerance church with a rectangular presbytery and a built-on tower from 1783 to 1785. It is located in the complex of the Evangelical Rectory and the former building of the Evangelical School, now adapted into the P.M. Bohun Liptov Gallery. In 1883 to 1885, it underwent a neo-Romanesque facade renovation, and a tower oriented on the axis of the longer side of the nave was added. The interior features two opposing galleries. The altar is late Baroque with a painting of Jesus on the cross and statues of the Holy Trinity and the Apostles John and Matthew from the time the church was built. The classicist pulpit dates from the 19th century. The church facade is decorated with a Lombard band frieze under the eaves. The semicircular windows have profiled corniced suprafenestrae. The entrance is located in the lower part of the tower. It is a recessed portal with a semicircular termination. The tower is divided by a lessine frame and has chamfered corners in its highest part. It is finished with a crowning cornice with a disc and a pyramidal helmet. In front of the church entrance are statues of M.M. Hadza and J. Trinovsky, local preachers, works by Ladislav Polak from 1950. The Jewish Synagogue, a classicist hall building on a rectangular plan from 1842 to 1846. It stands on the site of an older synagogue. In 1906, it was modified under the direction of Leopold Baumhorn, who applied Art Nouveau elements in the interior. There is a steel structure that supports the women's gallery. The artistically crafted Aaron HaKodesh is also preserved. The facade is dominated by a monumental three-axis portico, ending in a triangular gable with a tympanum. The facades are articulated by a high pilaster order. The semicircular windows have profiled surrounds with keystones. The synagogue was renovated after 1990 and serves as a cultural space. Welcome to the settlement of Liptovsky Hradok, founded at the beginning of the 13th century as the settlement of Belsko. It was named after one of the three castles located in the territory of today's Liptov Hradok. Topographically, the castle belongs to Upper Liptov and forms an inseparable part of its older history. The settlement of Moravnik, located in the center of today's old town, was a few centuries younger. Previously, there was a Celtic hill fort here, and before that, people of the Puchov culture settled here, which was confirmed by the discovery of 70 urns at the Belanska settlement. They probably came from 3 hill forts near Podturin, where they had settled much earlier. Liptovsky Hradok is located at the confluence of the Va and Bela rivers, so it was no coincidence that they chose this place. In the vicinity of the castle, they first founded a settlement composed of families of forestry and state officials. In 1728, they built a salt warehouse in the Moravnik settlement, to which they transported salt from Solivar. The origin of Liptovsky Hradok is closely linked to the development of the Hradok estates after their purchase by the Royal Chamber in 1731. The core of the settlement became the street stretching south from the castle. The Linden Tree Alley is typical for this street, and for the whole of Liptovsky Hradok. Later, part of this street became the basis for today's Arboretum. The continuation of this street along the Va River headed towards another former settlement, Prakaska. It belonged to the municipality of Podturin until the 1930s. Liptovsky Hradok was formed by the merger of both settlements. In the 1880s, buildings for the Chamber Forestry Office and the Prefecture were built in Liptovsky Hradok, and in the 1890s a Roman Catholic church. The first panel block apartment buildings in Liptovsky Hradok began to be built between 1959 and 1965. Liptovská Mara is a water reservoir near Liptovsky Mikulas in northern Slovakia on the Va River below the Tatra Mountains. The reservoir is located exactly between Besanova and Liptovsky Mikulas. Construction began in 1965 and was completed in 1975. The main reason for its construction was to protect towns in the Va River basin from floods, and in addition, electricity is generated in the dam by the flow of water using 4 turbines, 2 Kaplan and 2 reversible Dariaz turbines, with a total output of 198 megawatts. The dam is 53 meters high and is made of earth with a clay seal. During the dam's construction, 11 million cubic meters of earth, 300,000 cubic meters of stone, and 400,000 cubic meters of reinforced concrete were moved. The crest of the dam is 1,350 meters long. The maximum depth of the reservoir is 45 meters. The water surface area is 2,700 hectares. With a water volume of 360 million cubic meters, Liptovská Mara is the largest reservoir in Slovakia on the Va River. During construction, 7 Liptov villages were completely flooded: Liptovská Mara, Stara, Liptovská Sielnica, Paludza, Parizovcha, Sokolcha, Verbi, and others partially: Bobrovnik, Liptovský Trnovek, Benice, part of Timis. Over 4,000 inhabitants were relocated. The main reason for building the dam is to protect villages from floods on the Va River, but it also serves to generate electricity. Below the dam, there are 4 turbines with an output of 198 megawatts. In a part of the abolished village of Roztoki is the Tatralandia Aqua Park, which is located in an area of thermal springs discovered in the 1990s. Today there are recreational centers on the shores of the reservoir. The Ratkovo Peninsula with its adjacent waters is a protected area. Other monuments you can find in Liptovsky Mikulas, the former county house, Zubny Dom, a 3-story, 4-wing, originally Baroque building on a square plan with an inner courtyard from 1713. It is located in the middle of Liberator Square, in the very heart of the town. It was expanded in the second half of the 18th century and completed by the builder Peter Grossman from Banska Bystrica in 1793. In 1907, a 3rd floor was added, and during this phase, it was given a historicist facade according to a project by Imre Hegani. The front of the house faces south towards the Catholic Church with a 3-axis avant-corps structured by pilasters. A relief coat of arms of the Liptov County is placed on the axis of the balcony. The windows of the entrance staircase are decorated with stained glass by E. Simirova Martinchekova from 1960. The corners of the building are lined with bossage, the windows have surrounds with keystones, and the spaces between the windows are filled with decorative panels. The Pongrat Curia, a 2-story, 3-wing medieval building on an L-shaped plan, probably from the 1430s. It is located in the southwestern part of Liberator Square. It was modified in the Renaissance style in 1630. In the 17th and early 18th centuries, the building was the seat of the Liptov County. It underwent heritage restoration from 1976 to 1980. The building has a simple Renaissance facade. The windows have surrounds, and the entrance is designed as an arched gate. Below the crowning cornice is a Renaissance meander. It currently houses the Koloman Sokol Gallery, the former Jesuit monastery, a 2-story, 3-wing Baroque building on a rectangular plan from 1764. It is located on Skolska Street. The monastery's facade is structured by pilasters. The windows have decorative surrounds with keystones. The facade is dominated by an attic ending in a triangular gable with a tympanum. The old evangelical rectory, a single-story, 2-wing classicist building on a rectangular plan from 1788. It is a significant place in Slovak history, a center of Slovak cultural life in the 19th century. Mikhail Miloslav Hadza was the pastor here, during whose tenure the demands of the Slovak nation were written in 1848. The Tatran Association was founded here in 1844. The building has a neo-Romanesque facade with a Lombard band frieze under the crowning cornice. The windows have profiled surrounds with triangular suprafenestrae. The Black Eagle, Shirney Oral, a 2-story classicist burger building on an L-shaped plan with an inner courtyard from the turn of the 18th and 19th centuries. It is located on the corner of 1, Maya, Belova, and Garbiarska streets. In the courtyard of the Black Eagle, a workers' demonstration took place on May 1, 1918, where the demand for the creation of a Czechoslovak state was publicly proclaimed for the first time. On the facade, there is a bronze plaque by L. Majerski from 1928. The building has corner coins and windows with simple surrounds. The entrance is designed as an arched gate. Another point of interest is the Black Eagle, a complex of burger houses, Liberator Square and adjacent streets. These are terraced 2-story buildings with gabled roofs and an inner courtyard. The oldest still have a medieval core. Seligovsky House, Liberator's Square number 31, or Renaissance and Baroque ones. The facade treatments are most often historicist from the late 19th century. The former Catholic house, a two-story, originally Baroque building on an L-shaped plan from the 18th century. It was substantially rebuilt for the needs of the Roman Catholic Church in 1929, when it acquired a modernist appearance. It is located in the northern part of Belopotokeho Street, near the Church of St. Nicholas. The old Catholic rectory and the birthplace of J.L. Bella once stood on its site. Commemorative plaques for J.L. Bella and J. Bartos are placed on the building's facade. The memorial and military cemetery on Hajnikovo, the final resting place of about 1,400 members of the 1st Czechoslovak Army Corps who participated in the liberation battles around Liptovsky Mikulas in the spring of 1945. The memorial is a stone obelisk in the style of socialist realism, a work by Aladar Buzik from 1950. And that's all for today's video. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a like. You can also share the video with your friends. We would be happy if you subscribe to the Europe Truck Driver channel so you don't miss the next video, and we would be glad if you write us a comment about your travels in the area. Many safe kilometers.